guys, Stacy here. Sorry, I forgot about you. Um, After I remember at Edgeley that I told quite a few parents that I would be sending information on the CBD oil that we use for Ari and within our house. Um, and I forgot. Lots of things went on. We had medical stuff with Ari. Um, and so trying to do that and in being overwhelmed with the medical for Ari, just got back to my researching and I was like, I forgot about you. So I'm very sorry. So I'm just going to do a quick video to explain why we chose to do what we are doing and what it has helped us with. And a few other things is I just completed a certification in the endocannabinoid system. So I feel like I'm kind of smart, a little bit. And like I always say, there's really no better researcher than a mom with a special needs child. And I truly believe that because I think we just dig into so many things. And so many of you have probably already dug into looking at CBD oil and saying, oh my gosh, which one do we use? And so I'm just going to kind of explain why we took the route we did. So with starting with that, we'll just kind of I'll just kind of talk about some basics. But when we talk about the endocannabinoid system, we know that there is the CB1 receptor and the CB2 receptor. CB1 working in kind of your brain with the neurons, and CB2 works with more of the rest of the body, the immune system. Kind of what the that word is so hard. Endocannabinoid. I'm not even gonna say it. Endocannabinoid system. What it is it's the signaling throughout the body. It's the system of signaling. It works with the brain, the immune system, organs, glands, and the connective tissue. And what it does is it brings us to that homeostasis, kind of that even key. And so a lot of times with not just our kids, but with everybody, you have that fight-flight thing going on. And what this does is it brings you then down to the homeostasis. So you're not dealing with that fight-flight system. So those are some good things. I'm going to get through this. Some of the main things that you will see that the CBD oil helps with is the ocular system. There's many studies on the eyes and how it's helped with that. The neurological system, gastrointestinal, muscular, skeletal, cardiac, pulmonary, your skin, the endocrine system, reproductive system, and including the dental system. If you would like, I could go through in each one of those systems and explain how that works. But just a general overview here. When we look at our kids, we're dealing with the immune system. I mean, oh my gosh, Ari has the absolute worst immune system ever. Being born at 27 weeks, and I mean, she's sick all the time, and so that was one thing that I wanted to work on, because we spent a lot of days, years hibernating within our house and never getting out, and so that was important. But the other thing is dealing within the brain and dealing with regenerating, healthy neurons, and to actually, there's been studies done that it actually heals the brain, and there's a lot of things going on in there. And if what CBD does, one of the things that like with, you've probably seen with like football players or players that are being knocked in the head, or even my son. What that CBD does is works as kind of that neuroprotectant. It's kind of like a shield in there. Like example with my son, he has gotten several concussions. A couple of them were because he was trying to be the world's greatest snowboarder. We've learned that he is not going to be the world's greatest snowboarder. Brought down twice, not once, but twice, on the medical snowmobile for a broken collarbone and concussions. The other one was a dirt bike. He's just not going to be a star on the dirt bike either. But with that, I mean, there are so many concerns with a concussion now. They, are learning that, later on they can experience dementia and things like that. And so this CBD will go in there and regenerate and do healthy growth and add that protectant in there for him. And so that's one reason why I force it on my son. He thinks I have these voodoo things, so that's where the force comes in. But some of the other things, for Ari and other kids is just working on that brain and working on the hippocampus and developing that and help that growing and the research that CBD does on the brain is amazing. And you can go in, and I encourage you to do this, but you can go in and type in CBD and maybe what your child has been diagnosed with, or maybe what you've been diagnosed with, because I've found that it has helped me for anxiety. And so I typed that in, and after Ari was born, I went through just a horrible time, postpartum depression, and then you bring home this little thing, and you can't go out, you can't meet with people, and so you lose friends, you lose those connections, and it's just a really easy way to get trapped in a really deep hole. And so, of course, the thing to make me better was tons of anxiety meds. And did they work? Yeah. Did I feel better? I can't say that I felt better, but I felt different. I was just in this kind of cloud of, I really didn't care. And I didn't want to be that mom. And so getting on this, I'm completely off my anxiety meds, which is huge. The brain fog is gone. I feel like I can do things. And do I experience bad times and kind of feel depressed for a day? Yeah, I do. But it's like a normal depression. It's not like your whole world is collapsing on you. So I am very thankful that it has changed that for me. But, back to Ari, dealing with, her anxiety with going to a doctor or just medical in general, because she gets a shot every single night. And it used to be hell. And just that anxiety, level has been brought down. It has been known to have properties that help with speech, and I thought, no way, whatever. But I was going to try it. Her speech has gone from 2 to 3 word sentences, and that, we can understand her because we're with her. And so those conversations with my mom in Oklahoma were somewhat difficult because she didn't know what Ari was saying. But her speech has increased to 6 to 8 word sentences, and it's so fun because they're on FaceTime and they actually understand each other and are having a conversation. And that, it gives me goosebumps because I didn't know if they were going to have that type of relationship. It's increased her fine motor. And part of that too, with the fine motor, is it's increased her attention span, her focus, so which gives her more time to learn those things and then apply them. So it's kind of a twofer here. The other things that I have noticed with her is 2-foot jumping. Now, with my boys, I had no idea that 2-foot jumping is really important. But hello, it's really important because with the neurodevelopment gal that we work with, so many of the connectors of what it connects in the brain from jumping off 2 feet is just builds on to bigger and better things. Another example from neurodevelopment is crawling. Never miss crawling. It doesn't matter. If you miss crawling and you still never know how to crawl and you're 10 years old, you need to teach that child to crawl because of the connection within the brain. And so learning so much on that. So when she got to that 2-foot jump, I was just like, ah! So that was exciting. Balance. She's always so off with her balance. Was it her eyes? Her eyes checked out. Was it her ears? We've dealt with ears. But all of a sudden, her balance is so much better that if you go on her Facebook page, which is I Am Princess Ari, you will see some of her videos that she actually got on her Strider bike by herself. And that is one of her favorite things to do when she goes outside, which is a complete transformation for her. Other things that we have noticed would be sleeping. Sleeping has been far better than it has ever been. She's been a pretty good sleeper, but I just never knew with all of her tossing and turning and sitting up and saying, Mama, help me, which is Mama, hold me, if she was really getting rested. And now she doesn't do that and completely rested. The other big one, and I forget about this because she doesn't do it anymore, is Ari, when she would get really tired, she would stim. She would do this or this and open her mouth, and she would do it as she watched the iPad. I'm pretty good at that. Anyway, she used to do that all the time, and it would drive me insane. But learning, that stimming is, a release and a control, for those kids, she really couldn't stop. And then shortly after the CBD, she hasn't done any stimming. And so that's why I forget, because it's not a habit of hers anymore. It's not something that she feels she needs to do. We did go off of CBD 1 week, and I will never do it again. Never. I didn't order it in time, and so we had to wait. And during that week, I saw some slide backs. I saw some more stimming. Her sleep wasn't as good. She was kind of bouncing off the walls, different things like that. And so I got to see her without it. And again, I will never go without it. With that, and saying that I'll never go off of it, is before we even got Ari started on it, I researched it for about 1.5 years. And there's so many different companies out there. And everybody has a different company for whatever reason they want, it's meeting the need. And I just wasn't really ready to jump in on just anyone. I wanted to know about their company, where it came from, how it is digested in the body, and is this going to really work for her? And so after 1.5 years of looking through some different ones, I did try HempWorks. I did try Haley's Hope. I didn't try them on her, but I tried them on me. And I didn't really notice any change. And so I went to a DS conference in Houston because I was following the PMB brand. And the reason why I got why I kind of looked at that one is I ran across, while I was looking into detoxing heavy metals, because they were talking about how the heavy metals sit in the hippocampus and it can cause some different things, and kind of that crazy research mom. And I came across this doctor, and his name is Dr. Christopher Shades. And Dr. Christopher Shades, go ahead and look him up, but he is world known for his detox system of heavy metals. And so I really started, following him and reading some of his journals, and just a smart, brilliant chemist. Well, then I found out that he is the actual chemist that developed Prime My Body. And so I wanted to find out more about it, so I went to this conference because they were going to be talking on that. And some of the things that I really appreciated about this company was the fact that it's nano-enhanced, meaning he has condensed it in such a way that sublingually it can be taken in, and it will be taken in by the body instantly. And with the nano enhanced, it's so small that it actually will go in to the cell where it needs to be because it's so small. And I was like, well, gosh, that's a no-brainer. First of all, everybody talks about the taste and how horrible it is, and yeah, it's not very good. It's the first time I tried it, it definitely wouldn't be something that I would be like, oh my gosh, great. But after a week, your body actually starts to crave that nutrient, and so I don't see it as bad right now. But I'll be honest with you, the first time you try it, it tastes like a really, really bad outside of an orange peel. So I knew Ari, with her independence and her strong-willed behavior, and she did not make this decision on her own, that she was not going to let me put this in her mouth. And the amazing thing is you don't need very much. So you just, when we first started, we just started with a half a pump, which is about 4 or 5 drops. And you hold it in your mouth, and that was brilliant because she's no way going to swallow this stuff. And so she just sits there, which is perfect because that's how it gets put in the body instantly. And those little particles are into the cell and working right away for her. And that's how it would work for all of us. And which is brilliant. And I was unable to find other companies that had the nano-enhanced CBD oil. So if they don't, it's a bigger particle. And those bigger particles, then you lose many of them because it actually goes into the digestive system. And it's very difficult for the digestive system to make those move. And so you're losing like half of what you just took in. And so I didn't want to do that because if I'm going to make a commitment to this and I'm going to spend the money on this, I want it to work. And so it was perfect. The nano-enhanced Prime My Body works right in the mouth. It works very fast. Actually now, Ari makes it a joke of holding it in her mouth. She doesn't make the face anymore when she actually swallows it because she's either used to it or her body, like my body, is kind of craving for those nutrients. And so anyway, that is why we went with the Prime My Body. Now, I am not saying there's anything bad with any of the other ones. I'm saying that I did my research. I knew that this is what was going to work for us. But also I knew that it might not. And if it wouldn't have worked, we wouldn't continue down this path. It just wasn't going to be a path that we would take. But in a short time, we have seen many benefits to using the CBD oil. So anyway, so that's why we started it with Ari. And I think it is just one of those things that as a mom and finding out all of this information, it's kind of like you want to go to the rooftop and scream it off and say, moms, dads, look what I found. This could help. And, but I want you guys to do your research. You guys are more than welcome to reach out to me if you want more specifics on the, you know, different things that it helps. Like example, I'm using it for my husband right now because it has great research outcomes on diabetics. And my husband is a horrible diabetic. He follows his medication, but you know, he doesn't eat like he's supposed to. You know, it's hard to eat healthy all the time, and he just doesn't do that. And so his numbers are all over the board, and it just doesn't seem like we can get anything regulated on him. And so we are using that on my husband. So I can go through, if you guys want, you can message me, and I can go through more of how it works in the 4 sections of the brain, you know, with working with self-control, when it works with the frontal lobe, and, you know, all of the things like self-controlling, planning, reasoning, you know, motor control, language, vision, and how, you know, that works within the brain. We can, you know, look at, let me see, I'm looking at my notes. Let's see here. We can go into the research on the ALS. The other reason, this is one more reason because I just looked through my notes, but Alzheimer's disease is very prominent in kids like Ari, and that scares me to death because at the many conferences that I have been at, I have talked with moms. There's a dang fly in here. I have talked with moms that have kids that are 25, 30 years old, and they're already starting to see the beginning of Alzheimer's. It's to them, how they explain it is that there's just like this quick switch that happens. They become more aggressive, more angry. They just don't seem to be themselves. And they feel like they've reached such a good spot, and then all of a sudden they're dealing with the onset of Alzheimer's or dementia. And I look at Ari, who's 6 years old, and to think 25, 30 years old, I don't want that for her. And so if this can help, which there are many journals and many doctors that will attest to this helping with dementia and Alzheimer's, I'm going to give it to her, and because that's very scary. And I don't know, you know, how many other, you know, children that affects with some of their diseases or what they've been diagnosed with. I don't know how many other kids are affected. I just watched my best friend's mom pass away from Alzheimer's, and it was miserable. It was miserable. And I don't want that for my daughter. You know, so we can talk about that. We can talk about Huntington's disease, ischemia or a stroke, multiple sclerosis, schizophrenia. There's tons of stuff that I just learned on epilepsy and the research that they have done with it in, you know, prolonging seizure activities. You know, it works with behavioral and developmental delays, motor coordination. Again, goes back to speech. I was somebody that went through major migraines, and thank goodness I had peppermint oil, and learned the whole oil thing from Mayo. But because CBD was never on my radar at that point. The other thing is cancer, and how it is working with cancer. then it goes to, we can do a discussion on depression and anxiety and how it helps with that. PSTD, different mood disorders, gastrointestinal health and disease, oxidative stress. That is something that I know many kids with a diagnosis that is dealing with, including Ari. And so, once again, that's one more thing that is probably working on the inside of her that, I'm not quite seeing on the outside yet. And so we can talk about that. So, looking at nausea, looking at just gastric ulcers or just chronic inflammation pain. We can go through that. IBS was another one that I got so much information on, in Crohn's disease, and the journals that have been written on that, and pancreatic cancer, different things like that. So looking at the muscles and the skeletal things that it can help with, tendons, ligaments, joints, the connective tissues. These are all different things that in my certification that we had gone through. Fibromyalgia was another big one, osteoporosis, rheumatoid arthritis. Did I say that one? Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, so that was just a quick rundown. And I look at the clock right now and I'm like, holy crap, I know that was kind of long, but sorry. I'm just that mom that wants to say, hey, I've done the research, pick my brain, ask me, I will help you, I'll lead you in the ways that you want. Just ask me the questions. We're here to help one another, and this is one thing that I've really dug into it, and I think I'm pretty good at getting information out. So you can either respond. I'm going to send you individually on this message because I don't know how it works to get this information on the Family Voices closed page, and so I'll probably just message, but you can message me back your questions or what you want more information on, and I will get that to you, and I will not forget. The other thing is you can email me, and my email, I think it's in that book, but it's slh407@yahoo.com, or you can call me, which is 701-226-2288. And yes, I am one of those people that if I don't know the number, I might not answer. So leave a message and I will call you back. Okay, I hope this has helped some of you. Pick my brain, use me. Because if there's something that I'm going to ask you. And I know that you would be there for me. And I just want to be there for you and your kids and maybe find some positive things for you guys. All right, have a great day. I miss you guys. And remember, I love you.